Hello, today we will discuss about the entailment theory of causality. I am Latika Patel, Assistant Professor, Department of Philosophy, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Shatabarshiki, Mahavidyalaya. General notion of causal relation. According to ordinary human conception, causal relation is an internal relation. In reality, we believe that no events take place without any cause. If the condition of occurrence of cause and effect occurs in future, the same cause will cause the same effect. Therefore, from the viewpoint of common people, cause is a kind of force which actively produces effect, and causal relation is a relation of producer and product. By analyzing the common view of cause, we get the following features of cause. Cause is an event prior to effect. Effect will necessarily occur. It cause occurs. Cause produces the effect. Science also identifies cause as force being consistent with the ordinary or common notion of cause. With the help of the law of conservation of energy, science says that there is no quantitative difference between cause and effect. Only there is difference of quality. The relation of cause and effect is universal and necessary. Therefore, causal relation is very much important in case of science and ordinary world. Relation between cause and effect. In case of science, when we infer any unknown event from any known event, then we are bound to take the help of the event of causal relation. The conclusions of inferences become universal in some cases, and in some cases they are expressed as forecast of particular events. In both these cases, we require the use of the concept of cause effect. The common sense view of causality has some limitations. As per this conception, we can explain the causal relation among material objects. But this view cannot explain the causal relation between material body and spiritual mind. In the common sense view, we cannot get the explanation how material energy becomes transformed into mental energy. Entailment theory of causal relation. Among the rationalist philosophers, Descartes, Spinoza, etc., believe that there is a necessary relation between cause and effect. This view of relation rationalism is called necessary theory of entailment theory of cause. It is considered that necessary theory of causation is based upon the common sense view of cause. Besides, among the views of Locke and Berkeley, causal relation is considered necessary relation. Locke considered cause such an active force which necessarily produces effect. Similarly, Berkeley described mental force or energy as divine force or power and said that God is the only cause and everything of this universe is the effect created by God. According to necessary or entailment theory of cause, there is always a necessary relation between cause and effect. If the relation between cause and effect is described only with the help of succession, then we cannot explain their petition of same effect after the occurrence of same cause. In that case, we only can say that the event of death as effect follows the event of taking poison as cause. Entailment theory of causal relation. We will never be able to say that taking poison is the cause of death. For this, we have to say that the relation between cause and effect is universal and necessary. Rationalists considered this necessary relation between cause and effect the entailment relation. According to them, in valid deductive inference, there is a relation of necessity and entailment. Almost similar kind of necessary relation prevails between cause and effect. In valid deductive inference, the conclusion necessarily follows from the premise, and if the premise is true, then the conclusion can never be false. This necessary relation between the premise and the conclusion is called the relation of entailment. Similarly, the relation is said that this like the entailment relation between the premise and conclusion, similar relation of entailment can prevail between two events. But entailment relation of logic and entailment between cause and effect in our daily life are not identical. There is entailment like relation between cause and effect. According to rationalism, the relation between cause and effect is like that of the relation between the premise and the conclusion of a valid deductive argument. Descartes, Spinoza, Blanchard, Ewing, etc. are some of the supporters of the entailment theory of causation. Ewing has forwarded two arguments in support of the theory of entailment. In case of a valid deductive argument, we can infer that conclusion necessarily form the premise. Similarly, we can infer the effect from the cause. The statement which expresses the cause is the premise, and the statement which expresses the effect is called the conclusion. Ewing said that if there could not be this kind of necessary relation between cause and effect, then we could not infer the effect from the cause. Maintaining consistency with theory and succession or regularity, if it is said that there is no necessary relation between cause and effect, there is only relation of regularity, then we cannot get any scientific explanation of cause and effect. If it is admitted that the reason of occurrences of effect is kept within the cause only, then only we can get reasonable explanation of cause and effect. So if cause is responsible for effect, then we must admit that there is any necessary relation like logical entailment between cause and effect. In case of logical entailment, there is no temporal difference between cause and effect, but there must be temporal difference between cause and effect. For this reason, rationalists said that the relation between cause and effect is not entailment relation, but the relation is like entailment relation. In support of their view about cause and effect, the rationalist at least said that there is a similar entailment relation like entailment between cause and effect. For the following reasons, the theory of entailment relation between cause and effect has been criticized from various corners. As cause and effect are two separate events, we cannot get the effect by analyzing the cause, as the analytic propositions can only claim universal truth, and as the causal statements are not analytic, so we cannot get the effect from our analysis of the idea of cause. Our bodies are nourished for drinking milk. By observing these facts, it cannot be said that we will get the idea of nourishment from the idea of drinking milk. From this viewpoint, empiricist Hume said that as the idea of effect cannot be received from our analysis of cause, so there is no necessary relation between cause and effect. The supporters of entailment relation considered cause and effect identical, but in reality these two facts indicate two different meanings. Reason may mean as or because, and in that case it may not mean cause. In main defect of entailment theory is that this theory cannot explain the exact nature of causal entailment. Supporters of entailment theory only said that there is a relation like logical entailment between cause and effect, but in this way we cannot get any positive explanation of causal entailment only by saying there is similarity between logical entailment and causal relation. Thank you.